Chase and Capital One, two giants in the banking industry. You may know them better for their credit card services, but they also offer banking services as well, including checking and savings accounts. And that's what we're looking at today. In recent years, these two national banks have taken very different approaches with their business models. One of them focusing on in-person branches. Chase has 4,700 in-person branches across almost every state, while Capital One has reduced their footprint to almost 300, instead opting for a more online approach, as well as opening up Capital One cafes where you can go and drink a coffee like a Starbucks, but you can also meet with a representative and discuss your banking needs. Starting with checking accounts, Chase makes things a little bit confusing by offering multiple checking accounts. For the sake of this comparison, we're going to keep things simple with the one that most people would probably use and also their most popular account. And that's the Chase Total Checking Account. While there is no minimum deposit to open this account, there is a monthly service fee. There are a few different ways to avoid this fee. One of them is by having a direct deposit of $500 or more into the account. Another way is to have $1,500 or more in the account basically every day, and if you go under this amount, then you would be charged a fee of $12. Or another way is to have a combined $5,000 in this account plus other Chase accounts. So if you had $2,000 in a checking account and $3,000 in a savings account, then that would qualify you for having this service fee dropped as well. So while it is really easy to avoid this fee, it's just really annoying to have to try to meet certain criteria. And let's say you changed something one month and you moved money around and you happen to fall below all of these, then you would be charged a $12 fee. Fees like this just seem to hurt the ones that probably need the most help, because if you don't have direct deposit and if you have less than $1,500 in your account, then you probably don't need to be paying fees, and it really hurts financially. As I mentioned moments ago, Chase has almost 4,700 branches in almost every state, as well as 15,000 ATMs that they offer. This is probably one of the largest offerings that you're going to have with in-person branches. So if that's important to you, going into a branch and speaking with a person, this is probably Chase's number one strength that they have to offer. Chase does offer online banking as well as mobile banking, and I can speak that their interface for online and mobile banking is actually pretty smooth. The app is very user-friendly and intuitive, and it gives you a lot of functionality for the basic things that you're going to need. It's not difficult to navigate, and it's really easy to find the information you need. There are some more robust apps that are out there, but for this service offering, they have a pretty solid app. In addition to this, they offer online bill pay, which allows you to pay any bills that you have online. If you want person-to-person transfers, they are partnered with Zelle so that you can make peer-to-peer transactions. Now, this Zelle partnership is very common with most banks these days, but it really does make it easier to transfer money peer-to-peer. Another feature that they offer on their checking account is auto-save. So if you have a linked savings account, you can automatically have money withdrawn from this account on a periodic basis to put into your savings account. On this account, Chase offers an overdraft assist program, which I've got to say is a little bit weak in my opinion. They won't charge you a fee if you overdraft by $50 or less, but beyond the $50, if you overdraft, then they'll charge you $34 per transaction, up to 3 transactions each day. So that's $102 that you may be responsible for each day for transactions that go over this $50 mark. Again, here, this is the second strike. I don't like that there are fees involved in this account as well. Even for overdraft, there are so many other banks out there that won't charge you an overdraft fee. And Chase does offer one accommodation for this, and that's to have your funds transferred over from your savings account to cover an overdraft. Chase also offers a quick deposit feature where you can use your mobile app in order to deposit checks as well. Now moving on to Chase's savings account. Again, here, like the checking account, we see the same thing: fees. And again, just like the checking account, these fees are very easily avoided by having either $300 in the account or having $25 or more in autosave, so automatically transferring over from your checking account. It just really seems that it's too easy to avoid a fee. And again, here, I really feel like these fees are unnecessary, and they disproportionately affect the people that actually probably can't afford to pay the fees the most. And just to mention, banks charging fees alone brings them in revenue of billions of dollars a year. Now, their savings account as well is available online and on the mobile app. And we mentioned about the checking account. You can set this up for autosave to have money automatically deposited into your checking account. Now, the main thing you probably think about when you think savings account is the interest rate. With Chase's savings account, you will notice that they do not advertise their interest rate on their front page. The reason for this? A 0.01% interest rate. That means that for every $100,000 that you have in this account, after a year, you would have earned a whole $10 worth of interest. Now, there are a few benefits to having Chase as your main bank, and that is that they have a lot of different service offerings. If you want to have all of your accounts under one roof, then they have a lot to offer there. They have the checking account, they have the savings account, as well as credit cards, a lot of different lending, including for cars and homes, many products for businesses, investing, and also certificates of deposits. So in my opinion, two of their biggest strengths, the amount of in-person branches that you have available to go and visit with a representative one-on-one, and also their extensive service offerings on other products besides checking and savings. Moving on to Capital One, we see that they have no fees associated with their account. There are no minimum balance fees, no overdraft fees, so already a departure from Chase's model. Capital One's approach to in-person banking is a lot different than Chase's. They have close to 300 branches across about 7 different states. And while they've been reducing their footprint as far as traditional banks are concerned, they have been expanding their Capital One Cafe model, which combines basically a Starbucks with a traditional bank. You can go into the coffee shop just as you would any other coffee shop and sit and visit with a friend. However, if you did want to meet with a representative regarding your finances, they could meet with you as well in the coffee shop. This basically allows for a more relaxed environment where you can also build relationships with your bankers. And they're available to come and sit and talk with you should you have questions about your banking needs. They also offer an impressive network of over 70,000 fee-free ATMs. They also offer online and mobile banking just like Chase does. And while the functionality of both the online and mobile app are very similar to Chase's, I find that Capital One's app is just a little bit more intuitive and user-friendly. But really, this probably comes down to personal preference because both of them are very similar in their functionality and overall design. Capital One also offers online bill pay as well, and again here they are partnered with Zelle for peer-to-peer transfers. One added benefit to the Capital One account is they offer Get Paid Early, which allows you to receive your direct deposits a couple of days earlier than you typically would with other banks. This feature is not offered on Chase's similar account. It is offered on one of their more premier accounts with higher fees, but not their most popular account that we compared to earlier. You can also set up mobile deposits with Capital One as well, where you can use your mobile app in order to deposit checks remotely. Now, because Capital One does not have in-person branches in every state, they've made an arrangement with Walgreens and CVS in order to have the opportunity to deposit cash into your account. In a series of steps that you can take with your mobile app as well as with the representative from the CVS or the Walgreens, you can deposit cash into your account and also get instant confirmation on the app that the cash has been deposited into your account. Even when it comes to a lot of your online-only banks, this is something that they actually skip over and miss. The ability to deposit cash into your account even though you don't have a branch nearby. There are some online banks that do offer this like SoFi, but there are other banks like Ally that don't have this as an offering for their customers. When it comes to overdrafts, Capital One offers 3 different options. You can have them automatically decline the transaction so that you don't get charged at all for this. You can have them transfer funds from your savings account into your checking account in order to cover the overdraft, or you can have this set up to where there is just simply no overdraft fee. If you take this option and you don't pay the overdraft back in a timely manner, they do have the discretion to not approve additional transactions that overdraw your account, and they could close your account as a result. So it is important that if you do overdraft with this option, that you do pay it back in a timely manner. Now, when it comes to Capital One savings accounts, again, here there are no fees involved with this account. Similar to Chase, you can set up automatic transfers to go from your checking account into your savings account. And in a bit of a twist, since a lot of other online banks are offering vaults or goals that you can set aside money within your savings account into different categories, like let's say for a down payment for a home or something like that, Capital One instead encourages you to open a separate savings account for each goal. I have tried this method and it basically accomplishes the same thing because you can see all of your accounts and label them on the mobile app, but each one of them will have a different account number. Again, here, if you're transferring money from your checking to your savings account, it doesn't make a big difference. However, if you're using this as an external link between accounts, it could probably get a little bit annoying if you have to set up several different accounts to link to another account. But overall, if you're using this just within the Capital One ecosystem, there's not really any functionality difference between having separate savings goals and their multiple account option. And finally, again here, probably the most important part of your savings account account is your interest rate, Capital One is currently offering a 4.25% interest rate. That would be 425 times Chase's interest. On the one hand, you have Chase's approach with a lot of in-person branches and financial tools. On the other hand, you have Capital One's approach with a more online model, but with a higher interest rate and no fees. Which one is right for you really depends on your preference. Having had each of these accounts and my personal experience with them, I'm fine with the online model and the high interest rate and the no fees associated with Capital One, so that's my choice. Which one's right for you? Why don't you tell me down in the comments below which one you feel is the best bank for you and why you feel that. If it's Chase or Capital One, or if there's another bank that you're interested in. I'd love to hear about any of your experiences with either of these banks and appreciate you staying to the end of this video. Now remember, some of the best things that you can invest in is in those you love and in yourself. But don't stop there. Keep investing. Until next time.